You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast that looks at the trailers, box art, and behind the scenes, except when we're going over our top 10 of
right.
2018.
That's right. We've got our top 10s. We did this last year, so go back and listen to that episode if you hadn't heard it. I think I was sick in that episode as well.
Wow, really?
And yeah, it must be like around the time of year when it gets me. I get sick like once a year with a cold, and it seems to always be around the December, January time, and that's where we're making our top 10 list. So here we are again.
Top 10 list. Totally original. We're the first ones to ever do it.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I've heard anyway.
That's what I've heard too, yeah. I think this is going to be a big thing on the internets.
Yeah, lists as opposed to like articles. Yeah. I think that might catch on.
Okay, and this is I don't know if you mentioned this, but this is our top 10. It's not, we don't think this is the best of the year because we're not super critics and they're lame anyway.
Yeah, this is our opinion, but at the same time, these are the best movies of the year.
Natural.
Because our opinion is the correct opinion.
We learned that also from the internet.
That's right. The internet told us that our opinion is solid gold and nobody else's opinion matters.
I'll go over my honorable mentions, and my first one is Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Rogers.
That was an emotional one at certain points. I was like, oh, don't you make me cry.
Yeah, that was I really like that one. That one doesn't make an appearance on any of my lists, but I did really, really like that movie. It was quite nice.
Yeah.
Felt quite good.
It also was interesting to see him at one point talk about 9/11, right? Because he died in 2003.
Yeah.
And how he's just like, I just don't think any of this is going to matter. And how everyone in that documentary is like, no, it matters.
Yeah. We need you, Mr. Rogers, and we need you more today than ever. So that's why I'm glad we got this doc of it.
All right, do you have an honorable mention?
Yeah, I have two. Do you have more than one?
Yeah, I have more.
Okay, yeah, I've got two. So I guess my first honorable mention would be Cam, which is on Netflix right now. That one is quite good. That's the webcam body horror, webcam girl body horror movie that popped up on Netflix, I think, in November of 2018. Quite good.
I missed that one.
Oh, it's excellent. Definitely it's written by an actual cam girl model. So, one of those.
Is that like a YouTube star? I don't
know.
No,
like where they do like the strip teases or like, like feet things for money on, or they just like, they're in front of their webcam and they do chat rooms and things like that. So it's written by a girl who actually has done that stuff, but has made it into a horror movie. And it was one of like the most like edge of my seat movies I saw this year.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I'll write that down. Another one of my honorable mentions was Dead Ant.
That's a good one. I hear that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, it played at your Windy City Horrorama with Jake Busey.
My dude Jake Busey. Yeah, that one comes out January 25th in theaters in VOD. So for all you fine folks listening who haven't seen it yet, January 25th, no excuse.
Yeah, it's a combination of 50s monster / 80s rock / nostalgia of today.
Yeah, great performance by Jake Busey in that one. Like, he's so good and so funny in that one.
Yeah, a side note, I'll get on the little soapbox here. When the director was talking about how he was so hard on Jake, because he's like, Jake, I'm going to pull a fucking great performance from you. I don't think he said fucking, but he's just like, I'm going to pull this performance out of you. And Jake, like his story of like, where he could hear the director muttering and coming back to talk to them, and Jake would be like, oh, it's about me.
Ron Carlson, the director, was in for the festival, and he is the coolest dude. So, of course, he made a great rock and roll Killer Ant movie.
It was fun. Go see it. Another one I wanted to put up there was Halloween 2018. Wow, I like this, and you can hear us talk about it. in I don't know, whenever, somewhere around October. I'm sure we put that podcast out. It was a double. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm really glad they did a sequel, and it wasn't a soft reboot, because I'm tired of soft reboots. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about that.
I'll talk about that one in a second. My last honorable mention is a sequel that I didn't expect to kind of rock me, but I really enjoyed. It was Strangers Pray at Night, the second Strangers movie. I like the first one. I think it's got some really good scares in it. It's a really good nihilistic, just leave you bummed out movie. And then the second one comes out, and it's like a John Carpenter homage and like 80s slasher homage, and it's got all these like 80s pop songs in it. It's super fun and wacky and bloody as hell. It was really a surprise to be knocked on my ass in theaters with that one.
That one frustrated me with certain parts because of what some of the characters did, where I think they just made them a little too dumb. And then certain parts going towards farther in the end, the characters do get smarter.
Yeah, that's been a complaint that a lot of people have had about that movie, is they don't like the character decisions. But I guess my only sort of defense of that is I think, honestly, it's to serve the purpose of like the style of the movie. It's so not grounded in reality that it's basically just a music video. And I think that's why those characters make kind of dumb decisions, because it's more about the style than the realistic.
So I heard someone defend it with the characters do dumb things because it's an homage to the 80s, and those characters did the most ridiculous things. Yeah, I was just frustrated with it. All in all, I didn't hate it. I've heard some people really, really got mad at it. And I'm like, that's not the type of movie I get mad at. It's a slasher film. Come on.
Yeah, it was nice to see a slasher film. I mean, we'll talk about it in a sec with Halloween again, but like, it was nice to see a slasher film in theaters again too, which is kind of rare these days. You see them in festivals, but you never really see them on like wide release weekends.
I also have BlackKklansman. I really liked it. It was on my top 10, but I bumped it because I think there's some other movies that I liked better in somewhat the same department. My top 10 has a lot of emotion and dealing with our day-to-day racism.
Yeah, BlackKklansman was number 14 on my list. You could see my full top 25 on my Letterboxd. It's just Matt Stork. It's just me. I've got my top 25 on there, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. But yeah, BlackKklansman's number 14 on there for me. I really liked that movie. It made me laugh. It made me bummed out. I think it's got Spike's energy that he kind of hasn't had in his last couple movies. It feels more like a Do the Right Thing than like, say, Miracle Santa Ana or something like that.
I thought the racism part of it was too laid back. That's why I bumped it on my top 10. I rewatched it, and I'm like, because the end punches you in the gut. It's very heavy-handed. It's his style.
Yeah.
And I like
aggressive. I like that.
Yeah. But as a whole, I think it needed to take it up to another level. I see what he was doing, and I do like the film. We actually talked about it somewhere in the summer, Sarah and I knew. Let's keep going on this. Annihilation, a very smart sci-fi film that did not get enough attention because I think it was marketed poorly. They marketed it like it was a sci-fi action, and while it has action, it's actually more of a intelligent sci-fi. I would say Star Trek fans would be fans of like the Next Generation would be fans of this. So
I really liked Annihilation. That bear scene's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's
the screaming bear thing. That's awesome. I love that scene.
There's a lot of good in it, and I don't want to talk about the ending. You know what? I can't say any more about it because I don't want to ruin it. But if you haven't seen it, I'd say see it.
Yeah, I would actually. It's not in my top 25 at all, but I actually really like that one too.
Yeah,
I really like that movie.
Another one was this. This might disappoint people, but Mandy. It didn't crack my top 10, even though I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I think it's one of these art piece horrors.
It's a drug trip.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like you're doing drugs when you're watching the movie. I like Mandy a lot, too. It's not on my top list or anything. It was for a second in my top 25, but got knocked out at the last second.
And last one is a revenge film, Black 47, and it's a period piece. I usually hate period pieces because most of them blow.
Most of them are boring.
Yeah. This one is not. And they do a really good job of telling a fictional story in just a real shitty situation.
I did not see that one. Cool. I'll have to check it out.
You can rent it on Vudu and everything like that. But
Okay.
yeah, good stuff. Ready to crack in this top 10?
Yeah, let's crack into this top 10. Before we get started, I don't know if you took totals or whatever, but I wanted to say, like, I saw more movies, like new release movies, so movies that came out in 2018. I saw more of those than any other year before. And I mentioned before, I think I mentioned this somewhere before, but like Horrorama helped. You know, we have to watch. I watch everything that gets submitted. So as one of the,
you're a freak.
yeah, well, I'm the founder. It's only fair. You know, me and Alex watch everything, and then it trickles down. Well, me, Alex, and Ashley watch everything, and then it trickles down to some of our other screeners that watch the rest of the stuff to help us make the decisions. But we watch everything, so that helped. So I saw I saw over 300 movies this year, which is completely and totally insane. Most of which were in the beginning of the year because it was the submissions, but still, like, I saw a lot of movies this year. Do you know how many roughly-ish?
Me?
Yeah.
I have a count, yeah. I hit 70 yesterday.
70?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was official. I finally got it in. So I feel like a junior woodsman here.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't have hit that huge number if I wasn't doing a film festival. So
Yeah, that's true. And I'm glad I don't have to watch that many. I just can't do it.
it melts your brain a little bit.
Well, 70 was really hard for me, and I didn't get to watch one movie in December in the theater.
Yeah.
It just
hard.
was too hard.
We talked about that in the last episode. There's too much stuff came out in December.
Yeah, it's a weird December. Calm down, Hollywood. You know, we do have other months.
Yeah, I don't need 7 releases every week in December, you know?
Whatever. Okay, number 10 is going to upset you a bit, and I didn't like it as much, but I rewatched it, and I'm going to say Avengers Infinity War cracked my top 10, and it's because of one character in it. It's Thanos. I watched a lot of movies this year with bad supervillains, where they're... And I'm not talking superheroes. I'm just talking about the antagonists were simple. Probably because I watch a lot of revenge films. Peppermint. The thing is like when I rewatched it, at first I thought it dragged. Second time, no, didn't pick up on it at all. And Thanos' background of why he's doing it. Because at first when they started this whole Marvel universe, I thought Thanos was just going to be like, I want to take over the world. Boring. But actually, I see what he's doing now, and I thought his character was great. And I was surprised I liked it so much on rewatch. Because I didn't like the Black Panther so much on rewatch.
Yeah, I tend to really, like, lose my... Like, the Marvel movies I do like, I tend to not like them very much the second time I watch them. Like, they don't hold up as well for me. Upon reflection, I actually like Avengers Infinity War a lot less than I even did before, and I didn't even really like it before.
Yeah.
But the more and more I think about it, I'm like, God, I really didn't like that movie. So, like, I stand by... we had a whole episode on it. I stand by everything I said for it. I just think all these Marvel movies have just turned into commercials for the next movie, and I'm done. I'm sick of it.
The one thing that specifically points out that I don't like is the beginning with the whole Thor introduction from Thor Ragnarok. Like, if you didn't watch Thor Ragnarok, it's very confusing at the beginning. That annoys me because the film can't completely stand on its own. And I would say the first 30 minutes is the weakest. And then it picks up steam for me. But I was really surprised when I watched the Black Panther the second time. I fell asleep. I was not interested, even though Killmonger is a great
Yeah,
villain.
I would say he's a great villain. I don't think Thanos is that interesting, but I do think Killmonger's really good.
I don't find the Black Panther as interesting. I find his community, his kingdom, whatever you want to call it, I find that interesting, but he's just the ultimate goodie to be the ultimate goodie.
Yeah, he's Captain America, but in a
Yeah.
fantastical land.
Well,
like in more of a magical land. He's
I
Captain American of magic.
Because of the Captain America 1, I understand why he does it.
Yeah, Marvel just doesn't do it for me anymore. They've gone too much into like not completing one movie and just making them advertisements for the next movie, and not having just one complete story. I don't like the villains anymore. I'm just tired of their shtick.
All right, let's move on to your 10.
My 10 is an independent one called The Dark. Came out in November. It is similar it gets compared to, and I think kind of unfairly, to Let the Right One In, because it is a sort of friendship story between a boy and a monster. So that obviously that's why people are making the comparisons, but I think that's a little unfair. I think they're completely different movies. I'm not saying that The Dark is better than Let the Right One In, but I think they both just have their own merits and stand on their own. So I think this one, it came out in November. It played the fest circuit, and it's about a disfigured boy lost in the woods that gets saved by a zombie girl who lives out there, and sort of they're surviving out there in the wilderness and in the people that they sort of interact with. It's really emotional. It's a really touching friendship story as opposed to like a love story. It came out from Dark Sky. Put it out, so you could see it anywhere that you rent your movies, Vudu or Amazon or whatever. I highly recommend it. It's really good. It's a really good horror drama.
I always like your perspective on movies, because when I listen to your top 10, I go back and watch some of them, because you get to see so many. I probably never would have heard of that.
Yeah, I really think I don't think a lot of people have heard of this one, period, because it wasn't as flashy on like the fest circuit. But I think it's worth a watch, and I think it might knock you on your ass a little bit if you're into horror dramas.
Okay. My number 9 is I got the two big ones out first. I watched Mission Impossible Fallout. I don't like the Mission Impossibles that much, but that one I put on number 9. I don't like Tom Cruise that much in these. The stunts in that are incredible and they're real.
Yeah, no, that movie is quite good. It's number 22 on my list. I love Tom Cruise. I know. Not in real life. I don't know him. We're not friends. I can't call him up right now. But I love his films.
You guys don't go to cult parties together?
No, I do. I like his movies, and I like all the Mission Impossible movies. But like since the first one is still my favorite. Like I don't think anything is ever going to beat the first one for me. But since 2, they have been progressively getting better and better, though. Because 2 was terrible, 3 was better, 4 was better than 3, 5 was better than 4. And now 6 is better than So I could put this one right next to the first one.
I think it's funny because I've never seen 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
After 3, I was like, 3's good, but I don't care. 2 is terrible.
2 is terrible.
Yeah. 2 is so bad that part of me wonders if it's hysterical now.
No, it's boring. And that's the worst thing an action movie can be. Yeah, it's boring. You should watch 5. You'll like 5. It's very similar to 6. So.
Yeah, I think it kind of surprised me that I put this up number 9. I think I put it up more number 9 because I want more gadgets in my films, and I want more real stuntmen and women doing cool stuff. And that one, even though there's a lot of CG and all that, because sometimes those helicopters looked a little goofy crashing in that movie. No offense to the animators, but I'll never meet you, so they look goofy. But some of those fucking stunts, woo!
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible what Tom Cruise does in all those movies too. He's insane. Yeah, it reminds a lot of the stunts remind me of Baby Driver from the year before. Where I was like, yeah, that motorcycle stuff is great. Yeah, it's a pretty rollicking action movie. It gets you hyped.
Yeah. It is a little long. I think they need to cut some of it. It was like 2.5 hours long and about an hour and a half. I was feeling it a little bit, but then the end is just like the last 40 minutes fly.
Yeah, it's white knuckle. You're just like edge of your seat, but also like having a blast too. You're like smiling and you're white knuckle.
I was smiling at the end because Henry Cavill, is that his name? Superman, yeah. Yeah, he was a good bad guy.
Yeah, he was a fun bad guy to watch.
Yeah. Okay, your number 9.
My number 9 is Anna in the Apocalypse, zombie high school musical. Damn, so fun. And the songs are incredible. I like musicals, but I only like a certain kind of musicals, and I like the pageantry. I like the big, loud musicals. Like I'm not as into like the Les Mises of the world, or just sleepy. I like rock. I like loud. I like big productions, and this one's got it. And it's a zombie movie, and it's gory as hell. I think horror fans have a lot to dig in on this one, and then people who like putting on a show have something to dig into this one too. So. I loved it. I saw it twice in theaters.
Oh, I didn't get a chance. I knew that was on your top 10, and I just could not fit it in before today.
I don't know if it's out yet, though.
Oh,
it
no.
played in theaters, but I don't think it has popped up on like VOD yet.
Well,
So we'll
I'll
look out
definitely
for
watch it when it comes out.
Absolutely, everybody should.
Yeah.
Even everybody should. There's something for everybody in this movie.
I'm sure it will be on Shudder. I just have a feeling.
I hope so,
Yeah, me too.
because people will see it then.
Yeah, good.
People won't
Get Shudder.
People won't seek it out if it's not already on a service. You know.
Yeah. Number 8 for me was Searching.
I miss Searching. I missed this one. It's one that I missed this year that I really wanted to see.
For me, the first 10 minutes was very emotional. The wife in it, this isn't really a spoiler. You know that the wife is out of the picture from the trailer. Which, by the way, I skipped this film in the theater because I saw the trailer like 8 times and I'm like, oh, a social media / found footage film. Skip. And finally, Sarah and I watched it a couple nights ago, and it is nothing like I thought. It's a good mystery. And the wife dies from cancer in the first 10 minutes. And since I've lost someone from cancer when I was young, there's a image that they show of her in the bed with him hugging her while cancer's just sucking the life out of her. That really got me. So that was a great emotional connection for me. And then Sarah and I the entire time just... It does have a few pacing problems about an hour in, because we both were like, let's get past this. But the end, fantastic.
All right, I have to see it. It's been on my list for some time, and I just missed it. That's all. Got to see it.
All right, your number 8.
My number 8 is Overlord. It's another one I saw twice in theaters. Another zombie movie. I used to be really big into zombie movies, like right before Walking Dead and all that stuff. Like back in like the early 2000s when like 28 Days Later and Land of the Dead were coming out. I was really into zombies then. And I'm really tired of it now. But damn, 2 in a row on my top 10 zombie movies. I can't believe it. Overlord is a World War II set Nazi experiment gone wrong. I guess zombie isn't even a good word for it. Just like it's more like the Reanimator zombies than like the infection zombies, I guess. And it is literally like a big budget Hollywood J.J. Abrams doing Reanimator.
Yeah.
It's like schlock, but it's wonderful.
So I saw that on a Sunday morning when Sarah was off at church. And I have a story about it. So I walk into the theater, and it's 3 older guys. Definitely older than me. I would say in their 50s. And I sit down, and the one guy who's 2 rows in front of me turns around and goes, "Hey, can I sit next to you?" And I like didn't say anything for a second, but in my head it was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I guess that's okay. And he gets up there and he goes, "This is my alone time from my family, so I'm going to pretend you're my friend." And I was like, oh my God. But he wasn't bad. He was more like me because he was whispering things to me throughout the movie. And I'm like, oh, this guy's me in like 25 years.
That's hilarious.
But we had a good time. I don't know if it would crack my top 20, but I had fun with it. And it was a big budget zombie movie.
Yeah. Fun movies like this are so rare today. Like big, wide release, fun, crazy horror movies. Usually they're so serious and dour. And, I don't know. But it was fun to see something so rollicking and, like, silly.
Yeah, I like the serious films sometimes. I like a good combination. I like it super serious or way over the top, and Overlord gave me way over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I like serious stuff too. I just think we get a lot of it. So it's fun when these little surprises happen.
Yes, I think it's cracking through. I see more and more with the kind of, like, not so much meta, because I'm tired of meta horror.
Me too. I'm really burnt out on it, especially by watching all these submissions and stuff. Like, that's all that the low budget filmmakers are making now, and I'm like, I'm so bored of it.
Yeah, because I heard a lot of people that, Are You the Killer?
Oh, You Might Be the Killer?
You Might Be the Killer. I watched that, and I was like, it's not for me. I've seen enough meta horror. I thought it was weird that they gave it away. They give it away in the trailer. They give it away in the movie like 10 minutes in. It's like, oh, it is. He's the killer.
That one felt like And I know it started with like a Twitter thread, but it almost felt like that one was like a bunch of Redditors came together and made a horror movie. You know what I mean?
It was a Reddit horror movie?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It was people who like think they know it all about the genre. And I'm not a know-it-all on I don't know everything. But like, people on Reddit they think they know it all. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I know everything about the genre. Here's my movie about the genre, That's what it felt like. It felt like a Redditor horror movie. And I was like, okay, we get it. You think you know everything about the genre.
Yeah, I just didn't laugh at it. I mean, that was my biggest problem. It was a horror comedy that I didn't laugh at. And I think, The Mask of Leslie Vernon did it a lot better many years before.
Yeah.
So the special effects were good. I liked the gore in a couple of the shots. I was like, whoever was doing that, good job. I don't know who it was. I didn't look it up. But the comedy for me didn't land. So, anyway.
I like that one, but not like a lot. I just was like, okay, fine.
Well, the thing is, like, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I'm tired of the meta.
Yeah. I'm tired of the meta. I'm tired of the John Carpenter send up,
Yeah.
Even though I fucking mentioned strangers, but still, like,
just
everybody's doing it. Yeah, just do your own thing.
Do your own thing. I'm not going to sit there and rail on that movie because I'm glad independent horror like that keeps coming out.
Oh yeah, at the same time, like I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
Like it's still keep making your thing, man. Like it may not be for me, but I'm glad it's there.
Well, the whole thing is like I'd rather watch Soft Matters than something like that, and Soft Matters is wonderfully weird.
Oh god, love that movie.
Yeah,
that should have been an honorable mention because that's like number 15 or something on my list. Soft Matters, incredible. If you haven't seen it, go see it right now. It's gonna change your life, I promise.
Yeah, it's something. My number 7 is Hereditary. It is serious. The real reason, 1, this movie has balls. 2, it has an excellent performance from Toni Collette, which hopefully she gets nominated for an Oscar. I doubt it.
That one could. I feel like that one could sneak in a screenplay.
Screenplay. Yeah.
I feel like
the real reason this is on my top 10 is like when I left the theater, I was speechless. I didn't like the ending either.
Oh, I hate the ending of that movie. I really don't like the ending.
The beginning and the middle portion is so good. I just didn't care about the ending. Now I didn't even walk out of the theater like, ugh. I walked out of the theater like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there are sections of that movie that are great. It's not in my top. It like kind of just missed my. I feel like it's in my top maybe 30 or something like that. It just missed my top 25. There's sections of that movie that I think are incredible. I just think it has pacing problems, and I hate the ending. That's my only. And I don't ever want to watch it again. I've seen it once.
I agree.
I'm good.
Well, usually a movie that I don't want to rewatch will not make my top 10 ever.
Right.
This is a few, and I kind of want to rewatch certain parts of it because I want to listen to the commentary. I want to listen to the director. It's a first-time director, by the way, which
that's insane to me. Yeah.
I just want to hear explanations on it, and that's really it because there's some guts in that film. And I mean what they did.
Yeah.
Congratulations for being very courageous.
Yeah, definitely shocked some audiences, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was in a packed theater. And while there were a few chuckles, it was a pretty good crowd. Because some of it is a little funny because it's so dramatic.
Yeah, it gets a little soap opera-y in parts.
Yeah. But when the part happens that shocked everyone, you could hear a pin drop.
Oh, yeah. Same in my theater, which was also packed when I saw it. And I saw this one later, too. I didn't see this one right away. I didn't have time to see it when it first came out. So I saw it maybe 2-3 weeks later. Packed house still. Yeah, so this one, the word got out about this one.
Yeah, this was a good word of mouth. Your number 7?
Number 7's Halloween. Here's where mine pops up. I thought one of two things were going to happen with this one. It was either going to be my number 1 this year, or I was going to not like it that much. So it being like number 7 is kind of weird to me because I really thought I was either going to be like, this is my favorite thing ever, or I like it, but whatever. But it's close to my top. But number 7, I really liked it. I think everything worked. I saw this one twice in theaters also. So these kind of in a row I saw twice in theaters. I love Jamie Lee Curtis in the movie. I love actually all the actors doing a really good job. It's like bringing like really good acting back to the series. Some of the writing is 50-50. Some of it I really like. Some of it's a little hokey. But
The podcasters at the beginning are just like, to me, I get why it was put in, but as we're podcasters, like when she was just sticking the mic up and she's like 50 feet away from, and I'm like, you can't hear any of that. What are you doing?
but also, I think they were making fun of podcasters
I
too.
hope so.
I think they were.
Because you should make fun of us.
Because absolutely, and we definitely deserve it. So I think that was the point of them. And it, I don't know. I really liked it. I love the series. I think it does a lot of the same things that H2O did, and I think I like H2O still a little bit more. But I really liked it. It was good.
I do like H2O. I don't understand such the hate. I understand Michael Myers' goofy mask. I think it is goofy. Like, it's so bright white and plasticky. I didn't know if they were doing that on purpose, though.
I think didn't they have like 4 different masks
Probably.
they used in that one too? Like 4 different effects houses worked on that one.
But what we can say is Resurrection is easily the best.
Easily.
Yeah.
Number 1, Busta Rhymes, For Life. Number 4, Life.
I'm kidding. I hope that film burns.
That's the worst film in the series, easily. But H2O, man, that one holds up. That gets better with time. Watch that one again if you guys haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, I have the VHS on that. I rewatched it about 7 months ago, maybe. Yep, liked it.
Gets better with time. It's like a fine wine.
Yeah.
But I think H4O will do the same.
Hollywood, take note. We just mentioned Hereditary and Halloween 2018. These are female-led casts. It's okay. These are working.
Yeah, I mean, of my top 10 so far, I guess of like the 12 movies that I have, because I have the 2 honorable mentions, of the 6 I just talked about, 1, 2, 3, 4 are female led. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just, these are great movies and they're turning in great performances.
Yeah, I actually didn't even notice it until you said it. I'm like, hey, look at that. That's too, look at that. And I even said Annihilation, which is like all female cast pretty much. Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
Number 6, The Quiet Place. Another serious. I would say this was an experience horror film. Sarah and I saw it with maybe 20 people in the theater, and it was so quiet. Everyone was on the edge of their seat. Now, I did notice when this film came out, the backlash. There was a lot of people like, it wasn't that good. Well, the problem is you went into it with an expectation of like, it's the greatest horror movie ever. No, it's not. But it is a really good family drama / monster film / sensory horror film.
I really liked Quiet Place. I thought it was really good. It's not my top, but I really liked it. It was good. It's a good movie.
Sarah really, really liked it.
Nice.
I liked it a lot, but she was just like, that was one of the best films I've ever seen.
Nice.
And I was like, oh wow, really? But it was a great audience.
Yeah, I had a good theatrical experience too with that one.
Okay, your number 6.
My number 6 is not a horror movie, finally. 8th Grade. I loved 8th Grade. I have a thing for coming-of-age movies. You're going to see a couple more on my list coming up. But, God, another great female-led movie, another great lead performance, really good writing on this one, really funny, really fun, really true, really honest, made me feel uncomfortable. I was like, God, that's what we were like in 8th grade. Like, it like how much hasn't changed with the new generation. It's like, oh, we were all so awkward in 8th grade, and it was fun. It was a fun experience.
Those junior high years and like the 9th, maybe even up to 10th grade. Ugh.
We were weird.
Ugh.
Life was weird.
Yep. Especially the internet. I mean, I was right into the introduction of it, where I used to print off pictures and bring them into school, and they're like, "Whoa, you did that!"
Yeah, my early internet days of like looking up movie release dates would just be like, that'd be my thing. That would get me off. That was my internet porn, looking up movie release dates in the early days of the internet.
You are a nerd.
Yeah.
So am I. Number 5, mine's Revenge. Also Windy City.
Yes, we screened that too.
So this one was interesting to me because when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Ooh, rape revenge. Yeah, that's not in my boat. I don't dig those. I Spit in Your Grave, all these ones in the past. Because of canon films, rape, revenge, or just rape as like making that the bad guy was one of those things. I'm like, I'm not into it. I don't like it. But I did see it because it was Windy City Horrorama. Why not? And I thought it was really, really good. They don't shine in on the rape. They show it for they don't actually show the rape. I don't remember that.
They do. They show it.
They do. How much of it? I don't remember.
It's not too graphic. It's not like I Spit on Your Grave or anything, but they show it.
It's not like Death Wish.
Yeah. And actually, the fact that they show it is one of my problems with the movie. I showed it, but I actually have a lot of problems with this one.
I don't remember the rape part of it at all.
Good.
Did I close my eyes?
Maybe it's there.
I remember him over the top of her.
No, it's in there.
What?
Yeah, it's not much. It's not super graphic. It's not like I said, Spit on Your Grave, but it's in there. And it's one of my problems with it. But besides that, the revenge is pretty satisfying.
Her revenge and the two bad guys in it that she kills at the end is so satisfying. And there's a lot of male nudity, which I was like, wow, bravo.
Yeah, no, props to them for doing that. And it once it gets past sort of the rape section of the movie and it becomes a revenge movie, it kind of takes off, and that's where the movie really shines. But I have a lot of problems with the beginning of the movie.
Man, I don't know. Maybe I just completely, because I was like, oh, I'm so used to Death Wish, which Death Wish 3 is one of the worst, where the rape scene's 5 minutes, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
But then we find out that director was creepy as fuck.
Yep, Michael Winter. Don't hang out with that guy.
Yeah.
And
don't confuse him with Alex Winter.
Yes.
Who is in that film.
Yes, and Alex Winter is a national fucking treasure.
Wow, I'm really surprised I don't remember the rape part of it.
I would say go back and rewatch it.
No.
It's on Shudder, guys. You can watch it.
I'll just skip 30 minutes in, because when she goes ballistic,
that's when it gets good.
It's awesome.
Yeah. My number 5 is a movie that's not out yet, but is coming out in February, but I saw it in October. It is Mega Time Squad. It's a time travel comedy from New Zealand. It's got one of the actors from What We Do in Shadows. And it is so funny and so over the top. The New Zealand style of comedy is unlike anything else that exists. I guess the closest thing I can compare it to is it is kind of like the Office and Parks and Rec kind of humor, but it's faster and it's more ferocious. Because if you've seen What We Do in Shadows, which I'm assuming a lot of our listeners probably have, because it's kind of in our wheelhouse or whatever, you know the kind of humor I'm talking about. And it's another movie that features that. It's also the filmmakers did the effects for Deathgasm, so it's got that kind of humor as well. I laughed from start to finish, and it's like an 80-minute movie, and it fucking flies by. I can't recommend it enough. February 15th, this is another Dark Skies putting this one out on all the VOD things. Check it out.
My number 4, this one was good. Blind Spotting.
I missed this one too. Damn it. You got 2 on there that I missed that I really wanted to see.
It's this one has a relation to BlackKklansman in a way where while BlackKklansman was kind of laid back on the racism, played to more humor, Blind Spotting has the racism in the background. It's not focused on it, but then it comes into play all at the end really well. And I'm impressed by all the performances in it. This movie was just a sidewind hit. I had no idea when I watched this in the theater. I was like, well, I got to see something. I want to see this. Holy crap.
I really wanted to see this. I will see this eventually, but I missed this one.
Very good ending. Very, very good.
All right. I'll have to check it out.
Your number 4.
Mid-90s, Jonah Hill, directorial debut. I was going into this one ready to hate it because it's Jonah Hill, and, what can I say about Jonah Hill? I like his movies, and I think he's funny, but, there is something kind of so, you want to hate him a little bit, too, about him, maybe because he's a little arrogant or whatever, I don't know. But he was going in, and he's directing a movie, and he shot it on 16 millimeter, It's like full frame, so it's the square instead of the widescreen you're used to. And he's doing it kind of like if you've ever seen like a Larry Clark movie or a Harmony Korine movie, like the early ones, where it's it's focusing on kids, but it's real. Kids have sex, kids do drugs, stuff like that.
What?
Yeah. And I was ready to just be like, oh God, one of these movies. And I was ready to hate it, and it fucking floored me. Great performances, great writing. Jonah Hill makes the full frame 1:3 aspect ratio work. It's good. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great coming of age movie again.
Yeah, I missed that one. I remember seeing the trailer for it on something. And to me, I was just like, oh, we're doing this now. Well, now we've done the 80s. Now we're going to move on to the 90s. Okay. I think, didn't Netflix come out with like a 90s type TV show?
Oh, yeah, I think it did.
series?
I didn't see it, but I think
Neither
they
did
did. It's called mid-90s, but it's actually a reference, I think, to the temperature. It doesn't.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't focus. It's never like in your
I saw
face.
skateboarding, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, 90s.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a skateboarding movie, and I think it does take place in the mid '90s, but it's a double play. But it doesn't harp on it too much. It basically just gives an excuse to have a kickin' soundtrack because it's all stuff from like '96 SoCal stuff. So it's got like the hip hop, the punk, all the cool stuff that was coming out like '95, '96.
All right,
Great soundtrack.
I'll definitely watch that one. Because I saw it. That was the only one I remembered on your top 10. Because I saw your top 10 when you put it on there, and I immediately was like, oh, scroll. Okay, my number 3 is much more lighthearted. It is Deadpool 2. When I first saw this, I was like, that's good. Not as good as the first. I rewatched this in December with my brothers when I went home for Christmas, and we had a blast. We were laughing through it, having fun. The references, I picked up on more little Easter eggs throughout it. I laughed more, and I fucking love the Juggernaut in it. Because I also love, that's Ryan Reynolds' role of his life.
Yeah, it's Ryan Reynolds playing himself. He finally got to do it. He got to do Deadpool.
Oh, and when I can't ruin that. Never mind. Damn it.
This one's number 24 on my list. It's chaos, but it's just kind of wonderful chaos.
Yeah, I again, this would not have been on my top 10 if I didn't rewatch it and have such a good time. And if we're doing our favorite movies, that one, it got bumped up. And I think I texted you. I was like, oh man, I've changed this a few times on my top 10 list. And I'm like, I'm going to settle with this. I'm going to settle.
It's a good choice. It's a fun movie. My number 3 is another coming-of-age movie. What a surprise here. Love, Simon. I loved this movie. What a feel-good, just nice coming-of-age movie. Definitely rooted in like the John Hughes kind of. Again, it portrays kids real. It's PG-13, so it's a little gentler than mid-90s, but it's real. And it's kids today, which I don't necessarily really relate to because I've kind of crossed that threshold where now I relate to the old people more than the kids. It's still relatable and like, the technology is different and, kids are different because of social media and all this stuff, but there are certain things that like everybody can remember from when they were 16 years old, So there is that aspect to it, and it is just so nice. It's just a cute movie, and it's a feel-good movie, and it's doing the John Hughes thing, which is really, really, really hard to do well.
Yeah, damn it. There's another one I haven't seen. It's like, ugh. I only hit 2 on yours, or 2 on mine that you haven't seen. I think now you've hit 5?
Yeah, I got some weird ones on my list this year.
All right, number 2 for me is Upgrade. Loved Upgrade. This whole futuristic, nihilistic view, loved it, and the revenge aspect of it, and the Tom Hardy knockoff guy.
American Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's what I always called him. I like him better now. I just really did not like him in Prometheus.
Talk about Upgrade in a second.
Uh-oh. You're number 2.
My number 2 is not Upgrade, but my number 2 is A Simple Favor. Another female-led movie.
Yeah.
Paul Feig, one of the cleverest things this marketing did before it came out was that it was saying Paul Feig is doing a mystery thriller, and then you get there and it's still a comedy, but it's like a dark comedy. Ooh, it was satisfying. This one's fun. It's wacky. It's wild. It's mean. It's a good dark comedy. It's not super dark. It's not like a Very Bad Things or anything like that, but it's got the right amount of like fucked up things happening in it. It's super fun and great lead performances by the two girls.
Yeah, Anna Kendrick is really good in it. She's really believable too as like a mom blogger,
but also like
or vlogger. Sorry, let me get that right.
As like the eyes of the audience too for a little while.
Yeah.
She's fun to be like your main character for a while. Yeah, and then like as she kind of grows into the mystery, then she takes hold of the movie, and suddenly you're not her eyes anymore. You're like going for the ride with her now. It's a smart movie, really well written. I really enjoyed this one.
You don't get a lot of these films anymore. This is
No.
more of like this is more like a 60s.
Yeah, this is a
like
tough
a
sell.
whodunit.
It's like a whodunit comedy.
Black comedy.
Yeah. These movies don't get made anymore, so when they do, it's a real fucking treasure.
Yeah, it was good. Sarah and I watched that. Both really enjoyed that one. The Suburban Other Parents. Wow, that was really real. Like they were just talking mad trash.
Yeah, they were so funny.
The
movie's Greek chorus, which was so funny that like they chose to do that. That was great.
It was fun. I dug it. My number one. Sorry to bother you.
Oh, nice.
Fucking loved. That was another one where I'm like, oh, what? This is odd looking. Let me go watch it. What? David Cross as the white voice in it, because the whole movie is the main character who is black and is in Oakland.
Yeah, you like the two Oakland movies.
Yeah, who
Blind
knew?
Spotting also.
Again, two movies I just walked into.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's Sunday. I'm going to go watch something while Sarah's doing something. And I walked into it. I didn't know much about it, but everyone told me, like, David Cross is the voice in that. And I'm like, what? So he takes a telemarketing job, and then the old man next to him, which is played by Predator 2 himself,
Danny Glover.
says, like, you got to use your white voice. And David Cross's voice coming out of his...
Lakeith Stanfield from Get Out. Yeah.
Is so great. And then he just runs up the ladder. And then when he gets to corporate, there was a point in this movie I go, where the fuck is this going? And then this is why it's my number one. It's because if you haven't picked up, I love absurd endings. I love courageous, absurd, whether they're dumb or really smart, just do it.
Yeah, this one goes there.
This one goes to another planet. It felt like I still think about this film, and I saw this in like.
Isn't Armie Hammer incredible in like the last 30 minutes of that movie?
I don't really like him in much.
He's great in this.
He's great in this, and I couldn't believe they did that.
It's a wild ass movie.
Yeah, if there's any movie who surprised, I mean, Hereditary shocked me more, but this one just, I don't know, like it's just grabbed me by its claws or its horse dick.
Yeah. You'll see when you see it. Yeah, I really like this one too. This is a fun, wacky movie. If you guys like this one, check out. It's from the 60s or 70s. I don't remember. Late 60s, early 70s. Robert Downey, so Junior's father, directed a movie called Putney Swope, which is also about a black telemarketer moving up the rail.
Really?
And it's sort of the director of this said he kind of used this as a springboard for this. It's not a remake or anything like that, but it's also super weird. I highly recommend it. It's probably of the few that I've seen, it's my favorite Robert Downey Sr. movie. And it you could see the parallels. This would make a great double feature. So if you like this movie, check out Putney Swope. It's really hard to find, but if you can find it, it's worthwhile.
All right, everyone's been waiting. Matt Stork's number one.
It's already been spoiled, but Upgrade is my favorite movie of the year this year. Wow. I was ready to like this movie. I knew I was going to like this movie. I did not know I was going to like this movie this much. Everything works. everything works. It's silly. It's wacky. This movie should have opened with the Canon logo.
Yes.
Like this movie, it doesn't do like an 80s thing. It's not like obnoxious where it's like, but it just feels like it came from one of those B companies. Like I was waiting for like the New World Pictures or the Canon logo to come up before this movie. If you like that shit, you're going to love this movie, but it's the modern equivalent to that. It does the same thing that kind of Venom does. And the best parts of Venom are when like Tom Hardy's talking to himself.
Yeah.
This has that as well with not Tom Hardy and Stem in the movie. It's so funny. It works so well.
Not Tom Hardy. That's just
not Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy Jr.
The violence is great. The revenge is great. The ending is great. The sci-fi aspects of it works so well because it's like kind of futuristic, but not. It just kind of tiptoes into futuristic, but it still gives you a real landscape or whatever. Everything fucking works in this movie.
Woo! Yeah, it's the physical performance by not Tom Hardy.
He's great.
So good.
Not Tom Hardy's great in this movie. Miles better than Venom. Sorry, real Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Venom was a real mixed bag.
Yeah. And like I said, the parts that work best are the parts that Upgrade already did.
I will say this about Venom. It's good for a Sony film.
Yeah, good. It's good, and it's good for like a modern superhero movie, I guess, too, because it feels more like a 90s superhero movie.
Yeah. So hopefully they get better with theirs, or they'll sell. I don't know. They already sold their streaming service to Vudu.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I got the email about that.
So did I. Yeah. I was like, oh, so you sold. I wonder if your production company is gonna. Like we're gonna do another Ghostbusters for all you haters out there, and then we're maybe make enough money and we'll sell because they made a shit ton of money off Venom.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, they've got Men in Black coming out this year. They've got Ghostbusters coming out next year. They might be cashing out. They might be hitting all their last couple franchises they have.
Well,
and then
I'm surprised they're not like pivoting because they spent $1 million on Searching, and that made over $70 million in the box office. That's incredible.
Well, I think Screen Gems, who got Searching, is their well, no, it's Sony. Sony still owns it. That's what's keeping Sony alive because that's all. Screen Gems is all their low budget stuff.
Well, with how good Blumhouse has done with these, spend under 10 million or whatever they spent, because I think Halloween was like what, 5 million, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Their marketing
between 5 and 7, I think.
Yeah,
with
somewhere
marketing.
around there. I like it. I like the less money spent, but you get to be more flexible and creative with the script. The more bloated these films come with a budget, the more conservative they are. They're like, okay, we have to do this because we have to hit the Chinese market.
Yeah.
And China has kind of ruined the U.S. film. And okay, maybe not ruined, but now we have to occasionally see some films where you're like, Transformers 5 or whatever, that's or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah, they're marketing to both. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're doing the Chinese market and us at the same time, and there's something that is lost in that.
And you can tell in the scripts too, because Ninja Turtles 2 is really bad, where they basically turn to the audience. They're like, "This is why this is happening, and that's a bad guy." And then you're like, "Oh, it's because they're trying to appeal to multicultural." Yeah, they have to dumb it down. And that's a movie like everyone knows the Turtles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have to do this?
Well, I think both of our top 10 lists show this because we both have a lot of like low budget stuff in our lists. We don't have
first two.
Yeah, but like I've got some too that are bigger movies, but like the 80s were more is more. The 90s were more is more is more. And then like
bigger
now
cast, bigger budgets.
And now we've kind of gotten to where less is more. Like a little bit goes a long way these days because when the more is more movies that come out today, there's nothing to grasp onto. You're getting a lot. It's sensory overload. It's 3-hour long movie, explosions, villains, crazy stuff, but nothing grabs you. Less is more now. Stripping Michael Myers down to a $5 million movie made it scary again. For new audiences. Less is more this year, or at least these past few years, I think.
Yeah, I dug the lesser films. Not lesser films, the smaller budget films. Definitely. I mean, it was obvious.
Yeah. It was working this year for sure.
Stop giving us reboots. Soft reboots, you sons of bitches. I'm just saying that out loud.
I think people have reboot fatigue. I think we're getting sequels now.
Yeah, but if they keep making a ridiculous amount of money off it doesn't matter. I get it. Built-in franchises make a lot of money. You already have an audience right there, and they're going to it. But I kind of really stopped. I didn't go to Mary Poppins 2.
Oh, it sucked. Don't.
First of all,
I saw it.
I was more of a bed knobs and broomsticks kind of guy, because Angela Lansbury is my
boo thing.
My boo. Like, I love that lady. I even tweeted last night about watching Murder, She Wrote. I'm like, damn, you can't go past this. It's awesome.
Oh, that show's great.
Angela Lansbury, I love you.
Yeah, Mary Poppins Returns. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good.
I don't know if I'll see it because I'm just like, and I wanted to see the Pooh Bear.
Christopher
Robbins. But again, I was like, I'm tired of this.
That one.
I don't want to see Lion King either.
I don't want to see Lion King. It's just going to be the exact same movie again.
I already have a masterpiece.
I already have my animated Lion King. Don't try to sell me that this is live action because it's all CG anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like it's another animated Lion King doing exactly the same thing.
The New Line podcast here is also the Trashing on Disney podcast.
They've been fucking up lately, man.
They're making a lot of money though.
Yeah, it's working for them. Dumbo looks good though because it looks different from the original. But that's about it.
Again, I already have Dumbo. I don't care.
That's Tim Burton.
I don't care.
You got me in seats with Tim Burton. Yeah. I think the soft reboots, maybe outside of Disney, are going to slow down a little bit.
We'll see. I'm going to be pessimistic on it. I don't think it will at all.
We'll see. I guess time will tell.
You need to have a couple where they're just not making their money back, and they're like, okay, giant machine, it's time to switch gears here.
I just think with Halloween's success, we're going to see more sequels now.
I hope so.
And hopefully dropped in the middle sequels, too, not just like, part 9 of something. Like, this happens between 2 and 3. This happens between 1 and 2,
Yeah, I mean, Halloween, that took some courage to, like, just say, oh, yeah, all the other films don't exist.
It's just like one, then this one. Yeah, and it worked. And it worked so well.
It did.
Because it smartly didn't erase the other ones, because you can still have those. It's just different storylines, like a comic book. You can go this route, you can go this route,
Well, why don't you just redo films that should have been good but were bad?
Or that too, yeah. Why not remake bad films?
Because that still would have a built-in audience, probably.
Yeah.
At least somewhat, and then,
Like in 25 years, remake Venom, because it's not a good movie.
Maybe.
But it's a good character.
And
you have a built-in audience, so just, do that.
All right, let's move on to our, I don't know. For me, it would be bad, funny, and disappointing. I guess I'll start with my disappointing. Number 1 was Super Troopers 2.
I liked it. That was fun.
I didn't. I laughed twice.
Oh, I laughed a lot. But that's my humor. So.
The theater was silent.
Really? That'll ruin your experience somewhat for that.
That was a surprise. I could hear a couple coughs, like waiting for the jokes, and then it was just like, no, that is the joke, and you're like, ooh. Uh-oh.
I'm a trash human. I saw Chips in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Nobody was there. It was,
you saw Baywatch too, right?
I saw Baywatch in theaters also. The people that were in Chips were so into the humor. And it was getting me tickled because they were laughing. And I was like, this is a bad movie, but like, God, I'm having the best time because these people are having the best time. So your audience can make or break a comedy for you.
Another one, I'm going to actually say 3 disappointing. Another one was Jurassic World 2, The Fallen Kingdom. I'm not going to talk much about that because we did a whole podcast on it. I just don't. No.
I liked it.
I know.
Yeah, you can go back. I claim it's the best sequel of the series so far.
And I think it's like leftovers that have been in the back of your fridge, and then you pull it out, and you're like, how does this not have mold on it?
And then you eat it anyway, and it turns out to be all right.
No. And then my other one, again, not going to talk much about it because we did it, was Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. I laughed a few times, but I know a lot of people really disagree with me. That's cool. It's cool to have different opinions, but I was disappointed in it. And not to mention, I spent $6 to watch it.
Ugh. If we're gonna talk about, well, I'll jump in then here and turn it into the worst movies of the year. I hate doing like a worst of the year because filmmakers take a lot of time to make these movies and a lot of energy and a lot of
all the people building sets, all the people building costumes.
I have so much. I've made a movie. I have so much respect for these people that make movies, and it's so hard. And I'm sure my movie has appeared on a lot of worst lists. You know what I mean? So I get it. But there's no fucking excuse for why Puppet Master was that bad.
There are a few. I've seen a couple other people really dig their claws into it. And I was like, okay, so Matt and I aren't alone.
Oh, no, we're not alone. There's people that are in the middle with it. There's people that are on our side with it. There's people that like it. This one has really divided the fans.
The end to me is what really pissed me off.
It doesn't have an ending.
It doesn't have an ending.
We did a whole episode on this too. It is just hot garbage. There's no excuse for this movie. There's no excuse for how bad it is. If Full Moon is cranking out these movies for under $1 million every time, well under $1 million every time, probably like $100,000, and their movies are better, there's no fucking excuse. This was terrible.
Well, see, that's where we differ, because after 4 for me. Maybe 5 has certain things. They're awful. I just think that one, the prequel. I have an entire set signed right there. But that prequel was what was that called?
Retro.
That was terrible.
See, yeah, and
boring.
I think that movie's boring too. I've got problems with a lot of the other Puppet Master sequels too, but none of them infuriated me as much as Littlest Reich did.
Yeah, you were extra hot. I re-listened to it. I was like, wow, yeah. It was fun to hear Matt go, yeah, fuck you fucker.
Yeah. Go back and also listen to that episode, and then you could, on Horror Society, you could read my 0 out of 5 review on that one, which is just...
Did you get any emails from that?
No.
Damn it.
I didn't mention Robert Davey in it.
Yeah, that's your problem. This seems like Robert Davey should have made it.
Yeah.
Been like, you fucking Chicagoan.
Hey, I'm going to come over there and kick your ass. Listen to the Goonies episode. Robert Davey doesn't like me.
Yep. My bad funny was Peppermint. It was I was cracking up at how much they screwed up on it. It's a bad movie. It's bad.
I wouldn't call this bad funny for me. I just think it was bad. Just regular bad.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
Jennifer Garner's great in it.
No, yeah, she's incredible.
It's one of those great performances in a bad movie type thing.
Doesn't make any sense. You're like, are you sure you're supposed to be in this film? Because everyone else just cashed a paycheck.
Yeah, everybody else is just there, but she's giving it 100%. This was a year of that because we mentioned Mary Poppins, and I thought Emily Blunt was great as Mary Poppins, but I didn't like the movie. I loved Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't like that movie.
Oh.
And I loved Jennifer Garner in this movie, but I did not like this movie.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. That was incredible. He was Freddie Mercury.
It
was freaking me out.
Incredible in such a bad movie.
And the last 15 minutes where they just redid the live performance, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's good.
That's one of my favorite live performances. I've seen that plenty of times before the movie.
Right.
And when that came out, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so basically they just didn't tell the story.
Well, and they basically did a VH1 Rock Doc, PG version of Queen.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It was a lot of it was just completely fabricated.
It was the 2 members of the band that produced the movie trying to paint them as gods.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys were gods, but gods usually have some pretty fucked up
we need to see the
pasts.
cracks in the armor. It's for us to really fall in love with you, and it was not a warts and all thing. But yeah, it's just a year of that. I feel too. Obviously there was stuff we really liked, but the stuff I didn't like, I felt like there was still some good performances in those movies.
It was also a year of vigilante justice.
Yeah,
you
could tell we're angry in 2018.
We had Asher, Death Wish. Death Wish is bad.
That's a disappointment. Yeah.
The old man with the gun. That one's good. I saw that.
I didn't see that one.
It's a little boring, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that director, so I didn't see that one.
The Mule. I don't know if that's a revenge film, but it just feels like an old man doing things.
I saw The Mule. It's pretty good. Okay. It's not bad.
Well, Clint Eastwood needed to do something good after that. The movie where he used the Marines.
Oh yeah, that.
I just forgot the title of it, and I've seen it.
1518 to Paris or something like that.
Like what a story to tell. And you're like,
terrible movie.
It's not the kid's fault. Well, I mean, it's not I guess they're adults now. I don't know how old they were. It's not their fault. They're not actors. Why are you putting them in acting roles?
I think, did we mention it in one of our episodes early on? But like the one of the three guys that's like the best actor in the movie, they use the least. Like the one guy who's pretty good in the movie is like the guy that's like not the main focal point.
Well, maybe it's because he didn't have to stretch so much. But the main guy in it, I can't remember the actual Marine's name. I feel bad for him because there's parts in the beginning where they're trying to get you emotionally connected to him, and I'm like watching in the theater. I'm like, why are you doing this, Clint Eastwood?
Yeah,
this is literally taking them the farthest out of their element.
Also, too, that was like Clint Eastwood's like, I'm a Republican rally cry type thing. Like, it's all going to be about God and the Marines and everything. It was like, whoa, Clint Eastwood, pump the brakes. And he almost like apologizes for that in The Mule because he's like, no. I like Mexicans though.
Yeah, that's. I still haven't seen The Mule, but I've heard a few people. They're like, it's actually kind of Clint Eastwood being Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
it's. We'll see. I'll see it eventually. I will tell you my two least favorite films of the year. Gotti.
That's on a lot of people's worst list.
Now, yeah, because I heard that and I'm like, well, I have to watch it. So I rented it for only $2, by the way.
Nice.
And everyone said it was one of the worst films of the year, blah, blah, blah. So I had that expectation. I went into it, and when I watched it, it really is bad. It like outshines its expectation. Because John Travolta is creepy. One of the creepiest actors I've ever seen in a role.
Yeah, he scares me.
Like in this film, him trying to be Gotti. First of all, the film tries to paint Gotti like he wasn't that bad of a guy. Like you almost like, hey, feel sorry for him. I know he did horrible things, but like you can make the mafia guy likable. You can make a bad guy likable. There's a lot of likable bad guys. But at the end of the day, they're fucking bad.
Yeah. They killed people. They hurt people.
Yeah.
They ruined people's lives.
Like, we all love Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I mean, the ending is something different. But at the end of the day, like, the dude's bad.
Right. He's done some bad shit.
Likable.
Yeah.
This one was just like, don't you feel sorry for Gotti?
And also, like, Tony Soprano's a character. Gotti was a real person who did real bad things to kill real people.
Yeah, it's... he's so creepy, and there's actually some good actors in this who it's almost like they just use the first take. Where it's bad. It's really bad.
I'll have to watch it for the trash factor of
it. And there's so much stuff stuffed into it that like I forgot there were like, okay, we're gonna start this storyline, and then they stop. And I read more on it. Apparently, it went through like at least 2 directors. A couple producers, like one producer left, and he's like, "Don't put my name on this."
Nice.
Script rewrites during filming. It's just like the perfect combination of like awful filmmaking. And I feel sorry for everyone who actually worked hard on it.
I might have to resurrect Trash Movie Nights to show this. Maybe once we'll do a one-off of this.
It's creepy. It's going to make people uncomfortable because John Travolta makes you so uncomfortable. Yeah.
Listen to our 2001 podcast of the AF High List, and I talk extensively about how John Travolta scares me.
Yeah, well, he in this movie, he literally shows up in my nightmares. I'm like, oh, got it. And then I'd say one that's just, this is a comedy that isn't funny, The Clapper.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't hate that.
I didn't hate it either, but it's like exactly what you shouldn't do with a Actually, yeah, I did. I really disliked it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's funny. It's just kind of like just a flat, it's a movie. It's a movie.
Boring.
It's a movie.
Ed Helms, I like him in some things.
He does a lot of bad movies.
Yeah, he does.
Which is weird because he's such a star.
I just watched that film and it took me like 4 times to get through, and I don't know why I finished it, but I think I just had to get through it, and I'm like, why did you do this film? Not him. I mean, everyone.
Everybody involved. Yeah, it was such a generic thing. Yeah, I didn't hate it, but it didn't do anything for me either. It just sort of existed.
So frustrating.
So all I have, but I mentioned my worst. The only other thing I have is last time I did a trash movie of the year, which is sort of like a great terrible movie, like one you just have to see to believe. And I don't even remember what I talked about last year. What did I talk about?
Wish Upon?
Wish Upon. Yes. God. Rewatched that recently. That holds up as a trash movie.
You need to do that on like a movie night because I forgot to watch it.
Yeah, you gotta see.
But you talking about it made me want to. I'm like, I gotta watch that.
This year, the one you've got to see to believe is Tyler Perry's Acrimony. Came out in March of this year's. Taraji P. Henson stars in it, and she is a wife or an ex-wife getting revenge on her husband type thing. But it is so completely and totally batshit insane. And Tyler Perry does not know. I've seen a few Tyler Perry movies now, and I'm becoming a fan of his, not for the right reasons, though. He just doesn't know how to tell one story at all. You are watching him be distracted by something else as the movie goes on, because you're going down one path for a while, and then we take like a sidetrack, and then that becomes the movie, and then a sidetrack from that becomes the movie. Instead of just being a straight line beginning to end, it's like he has this tapestry of sidetracks that lead to an ending an ending that'll seemingly never come, because every time you kind of get to a point where a story wraps up, a new story just starts. And Acrimony does this really funny thing where you get about like an hour and 15 minutes into this 2-hour movie. And then all of a sudden, like, he decides to put text on screen to kind of explain things that are happening. There has not been text on screen at all in the rest of the movie. And he decides to just do this. He also hops genre. Like, we go from like this soap opera love story at the beginning to this like family drama to like this revenge film to like this outrageous and like extraordinarily violent ending out of nowhere. From like where it starts to where it ends just makes zero sense. This movie is unbelievable. And just, yeah, the tapestry that he has created with several different stories that don't link up at all, but all use like the same characters in the movie, is absolutely insane. You have to see this movie because it's everything you should not do in a movie, but it is so entertaining. Oh yeah,
another one. This is part of my religious thing is One Nation Under God. That one's. That one, you kind of gotta see that. They're so mean.
I can't watch those movies, man.
Oh,
they just
God's
get
Not
me
Dead
uncomfortable.
3 is not as mean. Like, God's Not Dead 2 is the meanest fucking... I don't know. One Nation Under God's pretty fucking mean. So let's do a recap here. Matt likes coming of ages films.
Yeah.
Steve can't remember the rape in a rape revenge film. I'm embarrassed about that. Matt thinks you should see the Tyler Perry movie for how laughable it is. I think you should be creeped out by Gotti. And both of us really like smaller movies.
Yeah. And apparently Upgrade's one of the best, because you've got it at number 2 and I have it at number 1. So Upgrade, don't miss.
Yeah, watch it. Watch that damn movie.
Yeah.
Especially if you like canon films. You heard it here 697th time, because I'm sure that's on a ton of top 10 lists.
Yeah.
Nothing new here, except our top 10 list. That's new.
Yeah, nobody's ever done a top 10 list before. Yeah, I mean, these are our opinions, but I think as listeners of this show, people who like the stuff we talk about, you guys would like all of these movies, though, I think. You know, the ones where like...
Well, I don't think a lot of people are going to like Revenge.
Oh, yeah, that might split people. I'm personally split on it. I like a lot of stuff in it, and I don't like some other stuff in it.
Skip 35 minutes into it.
Yeah, right?
And then watch her just fuck some shit up.
Yeah. But, like... I think for the most part, our list is stuff that our listeners like. So, like, they're new movies, but if you like the nostalgic stuff, these movies I feel like all have little pieces of the stuff that we like, that we grew up with, So I think you guys would like everything.
Well, that's revenge. The only real reason I like it is because shit gets wrecked. She does the wrecking, and it's a revenge. I love revenge.
It's bloody.
films.
It's bloody as hell. It's gory as shit. And I get off on revenge movies. We talked about this. Like, I get so much satisfaction from revenge movies. I don't like rape revenge movies, but I like revenge movies. So the revenge aspect of revenge is quite good because I enjoy that stuff. But yeah, no, you guys would like most of the stuff we're talking about. So as our audience, check it out. Check everything out. Make a list for yourself. And then go to the video store that doesn't exist and rent each one of these.
Yes, and I challenge all of you to give us your top 10 list. Either email it to us or put it on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear it. I love different opinions.
Yeah. Tell us we're wrong. About something, let's argue about something.
Woohoo! Yeah, you've had some good Facebook arguments this year.
I have. I'm not trying to be a shit stirrer, but I've gotten into it.
You're a shit stirrer that kind of it seems like it's coming from the right place. Like you're like, this is how I feel, and then people are like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble when I did when I defended sort of B movies over the art horror stuff. When I defended, and I wasn't even putting down the art horror stuff. I was just saying we need to appreciate the B.
Your tone kind of because I can see you writing it, it came off like you're like, I'm not really big into the art horror, and to me, I was just like, I like both. I don't care.
Yeah, and you could like
there
both.
There were a couple on yours. I was like, this is so entertaining.
Yeah, no, people got mad at me, and I'm fine with it because we should all have different opinions. I mean, that's why I run a film festival, and that's why I run it with Alex too, because me and Alex's tastes are very different. I love the differing opinions. I love running the festival because after each movie lets out, I love talking to the crowd and being like, what did you think? And I love when somebody's like, I hated it, or I loved it. Like when people came out of Revenge and were like, I love it, I'd be like, I didn't love it, but let's talk about it. So I love the different opinions, but man, I got in trouble for that. Man, did people come at me for that. But basically my summation was, I just think that strictly art house horror people tend to be snobbier than the B.
Well, that's
fans.
To be expected. I don't.
But a lot of people were arguing that there's snobs on both sides, and I've had more experience dealing with art house snobs over B snobs in my entire life. I haven't ran into too many people that are only Slumber Party Massacre, and they're like, you like Hereditary? Ew. But when I talk to somebody who loved Hereditary and I'm like, oh, I like Slumber Party Massacre, they're like, oh, you're one of those trash people. They brush me off. So I've had more experience with that. Maybe there are snobs on both sides. I'm just talking from my personal experience, but man, did that get me in trouble. People were mad at me for that.
I just fuck with them because I'm so good. I was the middle child, so I had older siblings, cousins, so I can just jab them right back with something, and I'm like, oh, you're right, please tell me what I should like.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't back down though. When people got mad at me, I was like, no, let's talk about this.
I'm letting you. I too love the conflict.
Yeah, but I love debates on stuff.
I'm more the guy who's just everything's running well in the debate, and then I'll throw a Bible verse in there, and everyone's like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, if we're just going to be spewing nonsense, I just thought I'd bring the Bible in.
Yeah.
I'm that asshole.
Yeah. Why
Weird.
not? Instigator, that's what you are.
Yes.
I'm a shit stirrer, you're an instigator.
So, if you want more wonderful, weird stuff, listen to our podcast more and more. Rate and review us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe to our Podbean. Subscribe.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Thanks for writing in. Thanks for helping us out with viewer submission month. We've checked out some fun stuff for that. We got plenty more weird stuff coming at you in 2019.
Oh, yeah. Our next movie that we're going to release, I think, is quite weird. Not literally release. We're not running a distribution company yet.
Yes, the Analog Jones label hasn't taken off yet.
But write us at analogjonestOF@gmail.com and suggest something, or just shoot us your opinion of your top 10 list. We're all good. We love Love it.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do a top 10, you should put it on the Facebook so that we could argue about it. Like, let's put it at a public forum and let's get into it. If you want to email us, okay, but put it on the Facebook.
Whatever
Let's
you
talk.
wanna do.
Let's talk.
All right, and remember to be kind.
And rewind.